What's up, Night Nation? My name is AC Flo, and I'm going to show you what my predictions for UCF's record will be in 2023. I'm letting you know now, this is going to be based off some statistics that I've pulled from various websites, but it's also just mostly going to be my own opinion. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So let's start talking about the schedule. On August 31st, we got Kent State at home. September 9th, we have Boise State on the road. Whoa. I know some of you guys don't have time to watch this whole thing, so I'm going to put a timestamp right here, and it'll just show you what my predictions are. September 16th, Villanova at home. September 23rd, at Kansas State. September 30th versus Baylor. October 7th at Kansas. October 21st at Oklahoma. October 28th versus West Virginia. November 4th at Cincinnati, November 11th versus Oklahoma State, November 18th at Texas Tech, and November 25th at Houston. Here's my scale. Basically my rankings going off the percentages that show my prediction for how likely we will win or lose the game. For example, the blue, which is 80% or higher, will be easy wins, while the dark red, 20% will be games we are not likely to win. I'm kind of stealing this idea from SG1 Sports. I'll put their link in the description, but you should definitely check them out if you want to get more college football stuff, especially during this offseason. Now with that out the way, let's knock out the easy game. The first two that land in the blue are Kent State and Villanova. These are obvious since Kent State is in the group of 5 and only won 4 of their last 12 games. It's also kind of funny because we stole one of their offensive tackles this offseason. Villanova will also be an easy game since they're 1, an FCS school, and 2, this isn't basketball. These next teams that I have are teams that I believe will have around a 70% chance of beating. Those are West Virginia and Houston. Those are both home games, which gives us a home field advantage, which is always great. Both teams are also coming off rocky seasons. West Virginia has been having a bad time in football since 2018. And since they are holding on to their coaching staff, who haven't really made much of an impactful impression, I don't believe we'll have a hard time beating them. Next up is Houston, and I don't see them having a good time in the Big 12. They fell really short last year when they were in the AAC, not even really being contenders for the American Championship last year, unlike us in Cincinnati. Speaking of Cincinnati, I have 2 games in the green, which are Cincinnati and Kansas. Since they're losing their national contending head coach Luke Fickell, I expect Cincinnati to fall back. Some sources are even claiming that they're going to be one of the worst newcomers in the Big 12. However, do not underestimate Nippert Stadium. Away games against Cincy are always trouble, especially considering their 31-1 home record for the past 5 years. Kansas is coming off a 6-7 season, and is also not gaining many recruits and losing more key transfers than gaining them. Maybe they'll pull their own weight this season, but I believe following the K-State game and possibly the Baylor game, UCF will be really trying for the dub. To make the ranking make a little more sense, I'm going to skip ahead to the lower percentage and leave the 50-50s off to the end. I'm going to be real. Feels like the Big 12 really wanted to introduce us to the Power 5 stage in a dirty manner. Having our first conference game away against the defending conference champion, Kansas State. They're returning their quarterback who carried them during the second half of their 10-4 season, giving them the win against TCU. I honestly don't see us winning this at all, but it's college football, who knows? Oklahoma came off a really bad 6-7 season, however, they are expected to shoot right back up. This will be a revenge game for us though, more so the fans than the players. We'll be facing our former quarterback, Dylan Gabriels, who unfortunately is pretty good at his job. However, knowing his trends, he'll probably get injured in the 3rd game, so maybe there will be a chance. The final team is Texas Tech, who honestly looks pretty scary. With an eager coaching staff and a team trying to make an impact in the Big 12, I definitely believe this will be a struggle, and playing away doesn't help at all. And finally, we get to the 50-50 games, which are Boise State, Baylor, and Oklahoma State. Boise will definitely be looking for revenge, since we beat them back in 2021 in a really close nail-biter. It doesn't help with the fact that we're going to be playing away at Boise State. While it really does suck that we had to play away at Boise State, just take a look at their field. It'll be so cool watching that blue field and our Knights taking on the charge and probably winning that game over there. If I'm being honest, knowing how the bounce house can bounce, I believe we can compete in every home game, even against teams like Baylor and OSU. I know that Baylor is supposed to have a good comeback season following their 6-7 2022 season, but I just think it would be awesome to beat them again and have a repeat of that New Year's 6 win against them with Blake Bortles back in 2014. OSU is also coming off a middle of the pack season, going 7-6 last year. Gaining a decent number of personnel from the transfer portal and recruiting stages, OSU should have the same, if not a little better record than last year. Now, taking that all into consideration, here are my predicted results. Taking the Reds as definite losses, the Blues and Greens as probable wins, and splitting the rest, I come up with 7-5. Our ceiling is a solid 9-3, a great start for the Big 12. We might have mess-ups here and there, but I can't really see us going anywhere higher than that. Our bottom, unfortunately, was 6-6, which is still a pretty decent year for starting in the Big 12. I know people have some big expectations for UCF because, well, we're awesome, but you have to realize 6-6 is still a really good accomplishment for a team like UCF, who's never really played in a Power 5 conference before. So, whatever comes with this season, just know this. Our Knights are awesome. We're definitely going to win games. We may lose some, but that's just kind of how college football goes. So, with that, I hope that I'm wrong and we do better than I say 7-5. Let's go 9-3. That sounds awesome. But that's about it. See ya. Charge on.